I want to fly first class to XYZ country because it's long haul and I don't want to pay for a 650 for myself and my two friends, which is a major nut.
Yes.
But once we get there, the direct flights, which I think is going to be really real in a post-COVID environment where we're not going to see the same level of direct flights for a while while traveling is going to be off. The cruise industries and the airlines, they're going to bring back the fleets slowly is what I keep hearing.
Yeah.
As I sit here in October of 2020. Can we get over to this place and back and do our little triangle or whatever?
Yeah. And, the way that I would describe that domestically service in tertiary cities is, destroyed at the moment from the commercial carriers, and it's unlikely to recover for a while. So, using a domestic example and then going international, if you're going from a tertiary city or small market to another small market, that's private aviation's sweet spot.
Yeah.
And that's when you're getting just maximum, value. Right? You're getting the time savings, you're getting the convenience. You're driving 10 minutes down the road to your local airport and private terminal and hopping on the jet there versus driving, an hour into the nearest tertiary or secondary city, going through security, waiting, boarding. You're able to take that light jet or mid jet, the, hour and a half, 2-hour itinerary and spend, an hour and a half traveling versus over a half day with a heck of a lot of stress, and in today's safety environment with COVID, far fewer touch points. Internationally, completely agree. For somebody to be going transcontinental, you're looking at, at the least $75,000 each way private, and that's when you're, going on a super mid likely and not a heavy jet.
Right.
So, to get international and then go point to point private, I think that we're going to see that as an emerging trend. The one thing that becomes a little bit of a challenge there is that there are specific market dynamics. Europe has enough supply where that makes sense and is probably possible without it being cost prohibitive. But certain markets like Asia are very, very unique, where there's far less supply than the domestic US and Europe, and repositioning becomes a huge component and a huge driver of cost. As it pertains to Africa, 100%. We actually work with a handful of the diamond mines there, and we move some executives around to some of the mines on Pilatus PC-12s, like phenomenal aircraft for crazy short runways and gravel runways and stuff that jets will not operate in. But, as you use the European example, we work very closely with a partner in Switzerland where they have a lot of clients coming in the manner that you described into Zurich. And we're kind of taking in the last mile with some of our helicopter services up to Bergenstock Resort, if you're familiar, and other locations around there, or trying to get someone from, say, Amsterdam into Samadon near St. Moritz.
Mm-hmm. Private, possibly, more substantial pressurized multi-engine helicopters is also part of the offering.
Yeah, absolutely. We do also charter broker for helicopters, and you mentioned multi-engine, and that's music to my ears because that's a huge component of safety.
Yeah,
for both aircraft and for helicopter operations. The two cardinal rules: 2 pilots in the cockpit, and especially for helicopters, 2 engines.
Yeah.
That drastically reduces risks. One of the areas that we specialize is kind of the good, the bad, and the ugly and the weird. Those crazy international itineraries to Africa, we are a little bit of a large cabin specialist with heavy jets and ultra long range, but we also do a tremendous amount of light jet and mid jet operations. I think this year with COVID, the Eastern Seaboard in particular has been extremely busy with itineraries for snowbirds going New York to Florida, in the middle of the country, Chicago and Florida, and the Northeast down to Florida, where that is a tremendous amount of light and mid-jet travel that we're assisting with. Probably one of the busiest routes domestically with COVID.